Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have a quick book review of the manga The Edge of Balance, Volume 2, by Daniel Jose Older and Shima Shinya, with art by Mizuki Sakakibara. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I apologize. This is the second High Republic manga volume. The first one was The Edge of Balance. The Edge of Balance came out in, I believe, 2021, and I read it on release day. It was a lot of fun. And then I read the Volume 2. I bought it around the time that it released, but for some reason, it just sat on my shelves for months. And I was like, I could read this in an hour. So I was like, why has it just been sitting on my shelves for so long? So I finally decided to pick it up. And I'm glad I did, because it kind of wraps up the storyline of Volume 1 in some ways. So Volume 1, which I have a video for on my channel, it's one of my lowest viewed videos ever. Volume 1 features the character of Lily, the Jedi who is part of the temple on Branchi, I think it's how you pronounce it, and that's when the Drengir attack during the whole events of the first part of the High Republic. And I think it's in between books 1 and 2 of the main, between Light of the Jedi and The Rising Storm. And things happen in that book, yada yada. Then Volume 2 is about right about the time of the third book, The Fallen Star, and still follows Lily as our main character, although some of the other characters, including her apprentice, who's on the cover, make an appearance. And the main idea of the story here is that they are so fearful of the Nile or some other entity attacking that they decide to start on the planet of Branchi, building defenses, but they don't know what to defend against. And then all of a sudden they lose all communications with the rest of the Republic. So they decide to go to Starlight Beacon to relay some information and to find out what's going on. At the same time, the people who are a new Jedi who is from another Jedi temple, the one from Takodana, that new Jedi comes in, and she is basically a very gruff character, and she is trying to change everything. And so, in some ways, you wonder: is that new Jedi character, is she actually a bad guy? Is she actually correct in some of her methods? You don't know, and that's what the book explains. As I mentioned, you can read this book in an hour. It is a super quick read. It's like 120 pages. This one, the first book had, the first volume had a little bit of like a bonus story at the back, which was just a sweet little bonus story where the younglings are exploring the planet. Whereas this one doesn't have a bonus story. Instead, it has like a cast of characters, and it shows what their drawings are like, and it shows like how they were designed and things like that. And so, in some ways, I would say that this story is really on par with the first one. I think it's fine. I don't think it's amazing. Manga is not my thing. I've read a few manga for the channel, but some of the My Hero Academia manga, and then I've read this, and that's all the manga I've read. So I'm not a manga expert, but I can just say, as a book reader who's also a High Republic fan, it is kind of frustrating that they would charge upwards of $15 for this little story that I can read in literally 1 hour, that I can flip through and, I'm done neck fast. That to me doesn't sound like a lot of ROI or return on investment. Not like, the middle grade, for example. You could spend 3, 4, 5 hours reading one of those middle grade books, and yet it costs roughly the same as this, because they're longer, there's more information, more content to it. And yes, this is drawings with speech bubbles as opposed to just straight prose, but to me it seems like this is not enough return on investment to get major audiences behind and also to drive significant sales, which is, I think, partially why they haven't done too much of this. Now, maybe this does branch out the audience a bit. This is a good way of getting more people into reading Star Wars content, people who pick it up because it's manga and then eventually pick up the novels later. So maybe it's a good return on investment that it helps their other sales as well. But for me, it doesn't seem necessary. If anything, I would say read the 2 volumes back to back, and you'll really get a good understanding of the story. But if you read one and then leave it, and then read the other, you feel like you're getting a little short story. It really does. It feels like I'm reading a short story as opposed to a full-length novel. Had they released even more, if they had done like a big omnibus for like $50, I'd be like, maybe that's worth it because it's more story. But because these are $15 each, it's just not that much value. So anyway, enough about the value of it. The character of Sav Mardigan, I think is the Jedi who's new. I thought she was very interesting. Karen, the apprentice character, I thought was good. But the main character of the story really is Lily, and I thought she was pretty good too. So as I said, it's a good story. It's just the return on investment it really nags at me that it's like that. So if you've read, and I will say, if this connects a lot to the High Republic story, it's like if you've read the other High Republic novels, you will feel a little bit rewarded reading this. But if you've read this book, let me know your thoughts on either volume. And if you have not read it, or do you plan to read it? Do you have the same feelings about return on investment? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section down below. But until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.